Thank you for coming to hear me speak. How many just heard the vegan black metal chef? Okay, I got to follow that. Do you feel a little bad for me? I was going to try to juggle flaming swords, but I figured I needed my fingers, and I didn't want to be the stumpy renegade. So I came up here, and I'm going to try to do my best for you, to entertain you, and talk to you a little bit about social media. At the end of my talk, if you can do hashtag Renegade Talk. You can ask questions, commentary, anything you want, and Dave will be taking some questions and giving them to me, and I'll try to answer, and I will be responding after the lecture as well. So, how many of you use social media? I expect to see every hand come up. How many of you comment every day? I expect everybody's hand to go up. How many people argue points every day? You can put your hand down. That's what you do professionally. Okay. We have become a global community because of social media. And what could be a very good thing has its ups and downs. And especially for new vegans, or even people that are plant-based, they think, oh my gosh, I go on, and here's a vegan community, and oh, Facebook has a bajillion groups and everything that I could want, answers, questions. So you go on there and you join. And you think, this is great. This is great. I'm going to find my answers. I found people, and at the beginning it's good until you make a comment. And then bam, pow, holy comments, Batman. You become the target for every frickin' troll that's out there. You can even say, hey, I like watermelon. And then you'll get somebody, well, you know watermelon kills ants. And you're like going, I don't kill ants, I just like watermelon. Why? And the more and more that you try to defend it, and after a while, you become angry. You kind of become the troll, because then you think, I defend myself. That jerk didn't have the right to talk to me like that. I was just saying I like tofu. What's wrong with tofu? Or, you know, I eat fish. Well, okay, now you're the villain. Now, okay, well, you can't say that you're vegetarian and vegan or anything, because now you're the bad person. So you turn around, you say hurtful comments, they say hurtful comments, and it ends up in a slew of you feeling horrible. So, sums it up. Troll make internet bad. Troll like anger. Troll wants people as miserable as a troll. And you do. Even when you're trying to diffuse the anger, which I am so guilty of, because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm a health coach and a personal trainer. I've earned my vegan card. I've been a vegan for over a decade. I try to diffuse it and I go, oh, this is a good thing. No, I get hate mail. I get a bunch of it. Some of it I think about publishing a book of all the hate mail that I get. But I think it'd be too long to write. So when you comment, you get these horrible messages, and it's fear-led. So fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. And hate leads to Facebook commenting, suffering, which is pretty much the same thing with Facebook. So there's several types of trolls. We've got the slippery slope troll, which is if, A happens, then B happens, and then you get comments like, if we don't eat meat, then the animals will take over the world. So we got to eat meat. So it's associating something ridiculous with what you said, with something that would never happen. But this is an argument that you're going to get quite a lot on the internet. It's what I see frequently. Even when I say something good or promoting a book, an article, or anything, it's always, well, if we do that, then this is going to happen. Or the one that's really big right now is, if we insert meatless Mondays into school, then the kids will dump the food and not eat it, and then they're going to go hungry and starve and become anemic and die. Okay, well, we'll see. Next one is association fallacy troll, and we've all heard this one. Hitler was a vegetarian. I don't trust vegetarians. Okay, well, I guess I'm Hitler now. Okay, well, what do you say back to that? Then you get mad and you start trying to justify it, and you start becoming a troll. Then fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to becoming a troll. If-then troll. This is used mostly with what I call vegan-on-vegan hate. It's everywhere. It's in the message boards, everything else. And this is a big one, mainly because it associates with me. If you have cats, then you're not a real vegan because you feed your cat's meat. Well, okay, I'm sorry I'm not vegan enough. And then you try to justify it. And then you get association trolls and everything else jumps in. And then everybody in there is arguing, which fuels the people that are trying to justify why people shouldn't be plant-based. Because it says, look, they can't even agree. They're fighting amongst themselves, and they're saying that nobody can really be a vegan. Well, I hate to tell you, nobody's perfect. There are no perfect vegans, and if we try to stop doing that, we would get rid of a lot of this. So don't be the troll. Don't be it. Bandwagon troll. And I don't even really need to say anything. Well, you know, vegetarian is a word for bad hunter, because we should be living the paleo life. We should have the paleo cupcakes and the paleo burgers and the paleo meatloaf and everything there else that we would not have had. So that's the big argument now, and it's one that we're going to see. And we even have the paleo vegetarian book, which I'm not going to fault because it's really cool. It's got some good recipes in it. The cherry picker troll. Exactly. Ew. Stop picking data that supports your theory that's unsubstantiated. And meat trolls love this one, because in research, you can make any information, any type of research skew to what you want to say. You want to actually follow what's peer-reviewed, what's been tested, what has the most replicable results. So most likely this. Well, you know, vegans we're anemic. Where do you get your protein? And any argument that you say, anything that you put out there, bacon though, which is often followed up with the paleo. Yeah, so you're going to have to, first of all, disengage it. If you want to have a thoughtful commentary with people online, it's great. Post stuff that you look at that is reputable. And don't try to justify it. Just say, look in it to yourself. I'm not going to cherry pick anything. Here's what I found. And if you want to talk about it, I'd love to talk about it. But when you get the bacon, though, just end it. And this is the mother of all trolls, the ad hominem troll. This troll is evil because it doesn't matter who you are. It's a personal attack on you, how you look, what you eat, who you like. They will attack you personally to break you down and fill you with shame. This is common. Why should anyone listen to you? You're supposed to be healthy, but you're fat. Way to go. You just completely defeated anything that you wanted to say by talking to me and attacking me, instead of looking at what I'm putting out and saying, that's a good idea, that's good research. We're going to find this a lot, especially when you're trying to talk about a plant-based movement, veganism, animal rights. They're not going to want to hear what you want to say. They're going to hear what they want to say, and they can't attack what you're saying. They can't say, well, you know, the research that you found from the UN saying that climate change is being caused by the farming of meat animals that's been shown. They're going to say, yeah, well, you're stupid. That's pretty much the only argument that they have. It's literally the kid going, oh yeah, well, you're dumb, and your face is dumb. And that's the ad hominem troll, and he lurks everywhere. He even lurks in even in the nutrition journal. You're going to find people that comments that's going to do this. They're going to say, well, that doctor in 1968 ate a hamburger, so he's not healthy. So he's not this, and he's ugly. And you're going, well, did you read it? No. Okay. No, your argument's home. And then there's this. That guy's guilty of it. There are people that will start fights. And it's not even really a troll. I can't even call this a troll. It's people that enjoy, I don't even know if they know that Netflix is available, and Facebook and Tumblr are the best places for this. They will say something so asinine, sit back, get the popcorn and a beer, and wait, and just sleep. And I am guilty of perpetuating this. And the lady says, I really try not to do it. I know better. I try to be very cautious with what I say. But there's a site, it's on Facebook, it's called Vegan Humor. And I'm trying to be, oh, well, I'm going to diffuse everything and say something. Somebody asked, flexitarian, is this a real thing? So I'm like, okay. So I said, okay, yeah, flexitarian is a real thing. Here's what it is. And I explained it. I might as well have punched myself repeatedly because everybody, instead of the line of just idiot comments, they all go at me. And I'm standing there going, what did I do? I had comment after comment, personal attack. Every troll that I have shown, I had that comment to where I finally, after 500 comments down, I lost it and it became this guy. How many have seen the movie Waiting? You seen the movie Waiting? Okay, there's a scene at the end where this kid tells off everybody in the most rude, horrible way ever. So I found that clip and I posted it in the messages and I said, this is what this message board has become. Then everybody goes, you're not compassionate. You just called us all a-holes. I'm like, no, I'm talking about it. And I had 10 death threats in my message board. I had somebody telling me that I suck, that I shouldn't be a nutritionist, that I was fat and ugly and stupid. Actually, that was word for word. I'm fat and ugly and stupid. And it was one of those things where I just sat there at my computer. I was like, I feel the worst I've ever done today is because I became the comment generator. I wanted to see what people would say because I got tired of the comments. So, you know, instead of being Michael Jackson at the popcorn, I actually became the werewolf and kind of hurt myself. So, you know, that happened. Stages of veganism. Shock! It's when you first become a vegan, vegetarian, flexitarian, fruitarian, breatharian, sunitarian, dirtitarian, treatitarian, whatever you think. You're going to start reading things and you're going to think, oh my gosh, this is horrible. What did I do that? I'm a bad person and I need to stop this and tell everybody that cows can speak French and if we eat them, they can't speak French anymore. So you have this shock and it's a good stage and everybody goes through it and you want to make people aware of it. You want to talk about it. So you're there, and that's the beginning. And it can be good, it can be bad, and it can be both, which it should. You know, you got to experience these feelings. The next stage of veganism, anger. Or I just visited the PETA site.
Oh yeah.
And I have to post everything. I have to go on people's site that said, I just had a hamburger and post the most horrific image and tell them how bad they suck. And you're going to be angry, and you should be. I mean, if you're not angry about something, you're not breathing. It's how you're going to use this anger. But initially, people go through it, and it's understandable, and you're going to post things because you're angry, and you want other people to be angry with you. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but you have to get a hold of it. You have to learn how to harness that so you don't turn people off to your message and you can continue to learn and move through to the next phase, which is awareness. Awareness is when you've seen all this. You've read all the articles, you've looked at the peer-reviewed journals, you've listened to speakers like me, and you think, okay, what can I do? What can I do to make a change? What are things that I can promote to make a change? How can I be beneficial? Yes, I don't agree with this person, but how can I talk to them in such a way that they'll listen to me and listen to my message and not my anger? And even if they don't change, they may be more aware and make some changes. I'm good friends with a hunter. We agree to disagree all the time. And I don't care for his lifestyle. He's picked on me about being a tofu vegan, and I pick on him about, being Elmer Fudd. But he adds to thoughtful insight. And he said, I like you. You don't turn me off to your message because you don't accuse me of anything, and you ask questions, and you say things that make me think as a person and make me think about it. And, he's even said, I'm never going to be vegan, but what you say makes sense. I understand it, and I can appreciate it. That's what this becomes. So when you get to that stage, you start letting the first two stages go, and then you move into compassion. Can I eat tofu? Yes, I can. You're compassionate, and this is where I am. I mean, I've been a vegan for over a decade, and I have been through all of these stages, and you progress and you regress through them depending on what you surround yourself with. And I found I'm at the point where now I'm able to walk away from things. I'm able to think about, how am I going to deliver my message to somebody that may not be open to seeing earthlings, but how can I make them aware of the message in earthlings in a way that will make them change? How would I want to be spoken to? And that's the biggest question, is how would I like to be spoken to? What are the messages that I would like to have? Because behind all of these trolls, all of these feelings, we all have that one thing that lurks there, and it's shame. And Brené Brown says that it is a feeling that you don't deserve to be loved or belonging. And all of these things that we go through, these trolls, these stages that we go through, have that lurking in, because we all want to belong, and we want people to be part of our tribe, part of our group. We want them to make changes. We want to make people be more aware of the animal rights, of our health, of our environment. So when we go through these, we have to think about, why are we feeling this? And it's okay. And yes, we are worthy. There's no shame in, I used to be a meat eater. I'm from South Carolina. Everything I have was flash fried and dead. And when I first became a vegan, I thought, how could I do that? It is horrible, and I beat myself up, and that's why I was so angry. I was angry at myself, and I was mirroring everything. So when I finally became compassionate, it started with being compassionate with myself and then looking at my social media. And I saw that my media was filled with so many negative messages, and so many, they're not self-serving for me to read. I love Prince E, and he just put out a video with this quote, and it touched me so much. And I thought, why would I let somebody with dirty feet run around in my mind? How is that going to help me make people aware? How is that going to help me make themselves be open to listening to my message, to changing their diet so they could save their lives, they could save the lives of animals, they can improve our planet? So with me, after I read this, I looked at my Facebook, which it encompasses my life. I had over almost 900 people in my Facebook feed. I didn't know half of them. And I'd say more than half of them, everything that was on there was something that was making me angry when I would wake up. I'd eat breakfast with my husband, and he was like, you were so angry before 7:30 a.m. I don't understand it. You're seething in your oatmeal. It was clouding my mind. And then when I would post things, when I would go to write, I never actually posted anything I wrote, because I'd write something and I'd read it. I was like, wow, that's awful. So I went in and I deleted. I got it down to about 200 people that were positive, 200 people that put messages out that are better for me. And then I realized that this really made me think. And once I did that, I was able to move more compassionate, to push my message out, to make my feed, what I'm putting out to you. If you follow me on my social media, you're going to notice that what I say is more subjective, more positive, more, here's what you can do. And here is something I want you to be aware about, but don't get mad about it. Don't go out with pitchforks and flames. Here's what we can do. Don't feed the trolls. And the trolls is including yourself, because you can be the biggest troll of them all. When you go to write something, or the biggest thing, when you respond to something, if you see something online that makes you angry, very, very angry, think, okay, I'm going to walk away from it. Or if you can't, do what I do. I go ahead and I write out a response, and I write everything I'm feeling, every single thing that I'm feeling. Even if it's me just venting, doing all the troll stuff, and I'll walk away from it. I don't post it. I'll walk away from it, and I'll either go back and I'll delete it altogether and put a different response, or I'll just delete it and walk away from the discussion, because I think, is what they're telling me worth my time? Is it worth my time to respond and to get in an argument? It's worth my time to find a video on waiting and post it again and get everybody angry at me? No. So just walk away. And if you see something that you're constantly wanting to respond to that's going to push you back into that anger phase, cut it out. Take out the garbage, empty it out. It doesn't mean that you don't like that person. It just means you don't even have to defriend them. You can just not have their feed in what you see. And you can say, I appreciate you and I understand you're passionate, but here's what I'm wanting to move through, and I can't have this every day. And sometimes that makes them think, sometimes that gets angry, and sometimes you get hate mail, and that's okay. But just really think about what you're doing, what you're saying, what you're putting out. Because your words, just like what I was saying, your words are very powerful. Even if you're not saying it, if you're writing it down, you're not really affecting the person that you're writing. You're affecting your own mind. You're speaking to yourself. You're internalizing everything that you're saying. So if you're a compassionate vegan for animals and you're getting mad and somebody posts something and you wrote a 10-page paragraph about how bad it is and everything else, and you post that out, you think that's going to affect them? No, it's giving ammunition, but what you've done is you've internalized that message and you're actually hurting yourself. So is it worth time taking time to respond? Maybe, if it is, and think about it. If you feel a need to vent, delete it, get rid of it, don't put it out there. Or just completely walk away. Here's what I found has been the best thing to do. And I actually have a company, and their name is Indigo Soaps, and I know the ladies that run it. They're fantastic. And I've spoken with them for a while. They use beeswax. And I say, I just kept telling them, I would love to use your products because you're a local company, you think, but I don't use animal products at all. I won't use anything with goat's milk or beeswax. She contacted me and says, hey Hope, I'm starting to do a line of vegan balms, soaps, and I want you to try it. I want to have some feedback. And she goes, it's because you didn't berate me. Because you said, hey, there's a group out here that would use this. And she's like, well, I've got some flavors coming out. I'm going to send you and see how you like them. I praise her for what she did. And that gets better. Or with people, I have people saying, well, a friend of mine on Facebook, I'm not vegan yet. I'm not even vegetarian, but I'm trying. So could you give me a response? And I talk with her. She says, it's because you don't berate me and saying, well, you shouldn't eat meat because of this. I tell her, well, you're doing good. This is a good thing that you're doing. And if you want to take it further, let me give you some recipes. Let me send you some positive sites. Or she'll say, I went a whole day and I tried this recipe. That is fantastic. I didn't eat meat before 6. Fantastic. I'm not going to eat meat tomorrow. So the praise and telling people what they're doing well gets more leverage in your voice than anything that you could ever yell at them for. There's a tribe, and I apologize for not knowing it, in Africa, and when somebody does something bad, they don't tell them that they're bad. They take them out, and they tell them everything that they have done that's good. Think about that for a minute. If our society, if our message, especially our community, instead of yelling at the companies, at the people, and saying, we don't like you doing this because you're hurting the animals or your environment, or do you know what palm oil is about, or your line sucks because you test on animals. Instead, think about what you could get if you'd say, I really appreciate you putting this part out that's vegan. I love this thing, and I would love to use more of your products, and I appreciate that you're taking steps not to test on animals. I appreciate that you're putting towards some rainforest. I appreciate you're making more heart healthy. They're going to see that well, wait a minute. There's a lot of people that would like this. There's a lot of people that would buy this. Let's do more products. Let's make a move towards doing this. And I'm seeing this in what I do, looking at, even Tom's of Maine is now owned by Colgate. And there was a backlash of, well, Colgate tests on animals and they're bad. And I said, whoa. Okay, let's look at Tom's of Maine. What does they do? They do have a lot of vegan. Their products are good, and they do give back. Colgate allows them a bigger distribution. And if everybody starts buying this, then Colgate's going to go, wait a minute. This stuff isn't selling so well. But Tom's of Maine is flying off the stores in Walmart. Maybe we should look at doing these products more like Tom's is doing. Maybe it will happen, maybe it won't. But the point is, put your energy towards that and see where we can go. And then you can get a wallet that says BAMF on it, because you can be a compassionate BAMF. John Joseph, he is a person that I didn't know about. I've listened to metal. I kind of knew the Crow mags. I did not realize that he was a vegan, or that he had PMA, positive mental attitude, until I got a question to review a book, which was called Meat is for P. You can fill that in. And automatically was like, I am not reading that book. I am not. It's going to be full because he's metal. It's going to be hater. The title turns me off. And I listened to him on Rich Roll. I was blown away because he takes the message like I'm trying to do, but I'm speaking to a different audience. So I talk to them the way that they'll listen to me, with telling them, why are you doing this? Let me show you some options. Let me show you a better way. He's not telling them everything they're doing bad. He's making aware of it, and he's talking. So I've got his book, and I'm reading it, and it's fantastic. But I love what he says is kill the negativity, and you'll see what you're capable of achieving. And I personally have found that. I'm not the angry person anymore. I don't sit there and people tell me, well, I want to become vegan. What do I do? Well, stop eating meat. Or you know that you're killing this. I stopped doing that. And I've had far more people saying, I love what you're doing. Thank you for doing that. It's got me interested. Can you send me more information? How can I help? What can I do every day to move towards being a better person? And that makes me happy. And those messages make me better. And I'm not a troll. What can you do? Please, for the love of tofu, disengage from the computer every once in a while. So, my tech guy's screaming. My husband works in technology. They're going, but we can't live. As great as communities are, a lot of what we have is because everybody has a need to be connected. That's why we go to vegan communities. That's why we look for things. That's why we interact with people. Whether it's a good interaction or a bad interaction, it is feeding that need to be worthy. It is taking care of that. It's a shame deflection. You either stop it or you run towards it and you use that shame and deflect it towards somebody else, but you're still connected. So disengage sometimes. Have interpersonal meetings. There are meetups here. There are a lot of meetups here. We've got the inside the perimeter meetups. I'm trying to get some outside the perimeter meetups. There are a lot of cafes. Meet people face to face. Use technology and message boards to talk about things and say, let's meet face to face. Like all of you in here, you're listening to me because we're here at VegFest. And I would much rather do this. I would much rather talk to all of you about topics. And I'm a health coach, personal trainer. I can talk your ears off about science and how you can do and recipes. But why I want to do this is the best way that I can connect with all of you is say, we are a community, but we're real people. We don't have to be the trolls. And each and every one of you, through whatever stage you're in, the four stages, and you can have sub-stages upon sub-stages of those, but I think those four encompass the real root of what we are. Wherever you are, let's get together and talk about it so we can move you forward instead of regress you back. Or if you have regressed back, how can we use what you're going through to create a positive message? Do you just need to go have a cup of coffee? Are you sad because this has happened? Did you watch Earthlings? Did you watch Cowspiracy? Did you feel overwhelmed? You know, what do you feel like? I'm tiny and I can't do anything. So instead of going on Facebook and slamming every company that's out there that's doing it to feel connected, reach out to this community and the people that are here and say, let's go talk about what we sell. Let's go talk about what we have in social media and see how we can change this and see what we can put out, if we can put an article out, if we can repost, if we can do a video, if we can repost videos from Prince E, from John Joseph, if we can talk about a Rich Roll podcast, a Vegan Renegade podcast, anything to connect you. So the more you know. And there was sound, so just, there we go. So now that you know, I want you to take this cautionary tale of social media and the lessons, and I know it's a lot to take in, but just take away is don't be the troll. And if you are a troll, it's okay, just don't post it or just realize what you're doing and try to improve. Find out what stage of veganism you are, why you're there, and how you can use that stage to move you forward or get your message out or connect with other people that are there and connect with people in different areas and say, what can we do to improve overall? How can we improve our online communities? How can we, how can we do this? And the first step that I'm going to say with this is monitor your own social media. You cannot control what groups say. You cannot control hashtags. Wished I could. I can imagine hashtags after this. You cannot control that. You can control your own media, your own voice. So if you have somebody attacking somebody on your social media, tell them to stop, disengage, or to set them off. If you have somebody attacking you, don't take it to heart. Just realize they're mirroring. They're putting forth, they're in a different stage, and either I can leave them on here and look negatively, positively, or I can take them off and move on and leave that space open for somebody that can help me grow. So I am going to take questions, and the geek in me has riddle me this, riddle me that. Where are your vegan questions at?
Go live with the people.
Huh?
Go face to face for a while.
My tech person failed.
Hey.
So do we have any questions about social media or veganism, anything?
What do you think about everybody blasting data for the animal, using their products for animal products? Everybody's stopping using data foods, a lot of vegans are, because they is using animal products to advertise them.
Animal products. What? I'm not.
Yeah, they posted recent recipes about they're using chicken and bacon and stuff with their foods to get more
Make it more universal.
So people are stopping or boycotting data.
Yeah, this falls into everybody is different, and you're going to have people that are angry. Okay, Daya, which makes Daya cheese, which is yummy, is posting recipes that include animal products. And a lot of people in the community, I can understand that. I don't like it, but I'm going to look at it this way. What is the real cause behind this? Because Daya is good, especially if you're trying to get off cheese, and we know cheese is addictive because of the casomorphines. It's like crack. So my point is, all right, well, what's the hardest thing to quit? I know with my clients, they always tell me I can't get off cheese. It is impossible, and it is. It is addictive. You can ask both of these guys, because they were, especially that guy right there. That guy would eat bags of cheese. Yeah, it was a long time ago in a vegan galaxy forward. But the way I'm going to look at it is, what are they trying to say? And this is how we can come into it. What are they trying to say with this?
Eliminate all your cheeses and switch to plant-based.
Right. And we're putting out that we're moving forward. There's going to be no perfect vegans, but if you could say, okay, we know the dairy industry is horrible. We've seen things. So, okay, well, what if people stop consuming so much cheese? Here's plant-based over here. Well, this person goes, man, this is awesome. And they look online and say, well, here's a recipe with Daya cheese without meat. So what I would say is ignore the people that understand their anger if they do have a right. And I don't condone eating meat. I don't slam anybody for it. Everybody is at their own level. But just say, tell Daya, say, I appreciate what you're doing, and I would like to see you put some plant-based options. Or if somebody's asking about it, say, yes, Daya cheese is awesome. And you've had an enchilada pie. Here's a recipe without meat. Try it. It's really good. The beans are really filling, and here's what it does. So turn the message around. Like if you see somebody like that, send them a recipe with something and say, here's a plant-based recipe that's going to it's going to keep you full, and here's the reason why. But good job for not eating cheese anymore, because we know that we want to try to bring down the dairy industry because of its cruelty and what's happening to your body. But congratulations on taking down the cheese. So reward the positive and ignore the negative. Okay.
That's an interesting position, but as I listen to what he's saying, one of the things that happened in my mind, okay, they makes an alternate cheese source of plant-based food, and then they put this out, and makes me kind of question, well, how pure is what they're doing? Should I look at them more closer for their product, and how vegan it is? They are also advocating meat source diet, or what have you. And also I want to go back just a little bit. You referred to something as good, and the other thing is bad, and I kind of prefer to say good and not so good.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah, that is perfect. What I would do, because this is where everybody comes into play with, so this is what's so great about social media. You have a question. So go on social media and say, hey, Daya, I see that you're doing this, and I just want to make sure that your products are still suitable for vegans. And then they'll come back and say yes or no. And if it's yes, say, well, thank you, I appreciate it. I do appreciate you trying to bring more people in. Praise what they're doing good. And like I said, a lot of people do that. I've asked questions. I've had some companies do things I've seen that they've also had animal products in. So I contacted them directly, either through social media or sent them an email and said, as a vegan health coach and trainer, I'm very much a vegan for many reasons. I want to make sure that what I am purchasing from your company is ethical and it is vegan. And if they say no, I don't say, well, you're bad. You shouldn't do that. What I would say is, well, that's a shame because I really love your products and I really would like to have your products, but would you include some? Or if they say no, say, well, that's great. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that you're doing that and I look forward to more. So it's just like you say, it's not really bad. You're taking something good and not so good, but you're trying not to say that this is a horrible thing. Does that make any sense? No?
Just to add off of that, economically, I think what they're trying to do is just they're trying to open up their base of what can they sell, who can they sell it to, and everything like that. And in terms of being a vegan-wise, that's only going to benefit us in every single type of way, just because when they do expand their market base, it's going to decrease prices for us. But it's also making people realize, oh, hey, this plant-based stuff is not bad. I can use this, and I can still eat all the other stuff that I enjoy, even if it isn't, if it isn't vegan. It's, everybody has their own thing. So, I mean, I can only see the plus side of that. I mean, we would like, we would like everybody to have our same opinion, but that's never going to happen. I mean, I
would love the world to be vegan, and I like the fact that they're showing people that we don't just go out and graze on twigs and grass. That our food is very flavorful, that what we do, and that we're not all angry vegans that are ready to strike at you. We can only, by expanding out and making these things available to people who are not plant-based, is only helping us, just like Tom's of Maine. Now, people that, my parents live in Greenwood, South Carolina. They have a Walmart and a Bilo and I think a Food Lion. Now, Tom's of Maine is in those stores, and my parents buy that. They went from buying Crest, which we know is not healthy for you, and it's not a good product to use, to saying, well, what do you use? I said, well, I use Desert Essence, but Tom's of Maine is a better choice if you have that. And my parents saw that in, I think, Bilo, and got it. My parents, who are not plant-based at all, that gave them the option, so that's good. Whether or not the company is totally vegan, totally ethical, but like I said, putting this cheese out, putting these recipes only makes it available and makes people more open to using this product. And maybe once they start using it, they'll say, you know what? The vegan connotation, which has gotten a very negative name, it's not so bad. I want to hear more. I want to hear more of this. Why do you do it? How can we do this? Can we incorporate this in our lifestyle? Would my kids like this? Where can I go to get this? How do I substitute? So, okay?
So high school kids these days are using a lot of Pinterest and Pinterest. Do you see opportunities for our community with those new social media?
Absolutely. That's what I do. It is one thing that I've pulled away from taking clients. My background is communication, and I know the power of social media. And I'm thinking, why am I not using this at all? Tumblr is huge. Kids, young adults are moving away from Facebook and going to Tumblr, and it's gotten really big in the community. There's so many levels of communities there. You've got the trolls are filtering in, but you've got levels of vegans. You've got feminists. You've got environmental activists. You've got young kids that are starting to journal on there, that are wanting to be involved in the world. We've got Pinterest is huge. There's a new actually board out called veganwall.com. It's a couple in Italy that started it. I was a beta tester, but it's kind of like a Tumblr, Facebook for vegans. And they're just getting out of vegan, but I've noticed that people who are not vegan are interested in it. They're plant curious. They're getting on there, and even they have options for, I'm not vegan yet, but I want to know more. So we're seeing people that are like, okay, I'm open because this is positive. Pinterest, oh my gosh, look at that recipe. Wait, that has no meat? Or this company makes these types of clothes, or wait, Puma's using more synthetic leather. One is a company called Vehement. They make MMA gloves and shin guards. They are moving here, and they've used Tumblr successfully to promote a Kickstarter to show that they have a vegan line. All their brand is synthetic and it's top of the line stuff, and they've done very well because people are seeing it, they're talking about it, which is what social is about. We get a conversation. So that whole thing is about is how are we going to have a conversation? How are you going to use your voices in this? So yeah, definitely. So being involved and learning how to use it. You don't have to use all of them. I mean, it can be overwhelming. Man, you see my computer. I have like 80,000 tabs open. It's sad. It's sad. But you pick maybe 2 that you like if you're not used to it, and that is easy for you to use, and get involved and start finding people in there with common interests. Okay.
Really like a lot of the strategies you're discussing, but just in a different environment, if you're standing up in front of a group that you don't really know very well, like did not come to you, say we've hired you to talk to, for instance, in veganism, this is just a different cross-section, maybe a random sample of society. How do you engage them in the most positive way? Because usually with my coworkers, I talk to them about who I am, what I am, and instantly there's humor, you know, and that kind of thing. So a lot of negativity, doubt, that kind of thing. But without a controlled environment, what would be your strategy to not come across as preachy or off-putting?
I get that a lot because I got asked that when I was on Back to Nature, or Tune Into Nature. How do I talk to people that are not into veganism or asking questions? I don't really approach people. I live by, what you do is you live by example. If somebody asks you something, then just say, oh, okay, or give them a site or an article to read. One good thing is actual work. I know these 2 guys do it a lot because they both work in corporate. If you have a potluck, bring something vegan and don't make a big deal out of it. Just sit it down, because a lot of times people will like it and they want to talk to you about it. And when you get attacked, because you know there's personal trolls too, it's not just on social media, you're going to have people that are going to berate you. You can just say, okay, I understand, and just disengage, because you're not going to win that argument. But if you had somebody said, hey, I saw a Daya article that said here's a chicken casserole with Daya cheese, is that any good? And so yeah, Daya cheese is really good melted, and so you should try it, or I'll bring you some, or I'll make something and you can try it. It can be vegan, and you don't have to make a big deal of it. You brought it for them to try the cheese, or you bring cupcakes or something that's vegan. But the way I found, because I used to be, when I first got into this and I started wanting to be a counselor and even a fitness coach, being in an environment like a gym where you've got a lot of meatheads, I was the, Brene Brown calls you either a victim or a Viking. The victim is somebody that just completely wallows in self-pity and gets mad at everybody and becomes a troll. And the Viking, you put an armor on, you're defensive, and you're ready to attack anybody. That was me. I'd be like, well, cheese raises your pH. I started the whole spiel, and I realized that you could see them going. But when they asked me, I was like, yeah, I can understand it. Cheese is delicious. We got Daya cheese, and there's this place called Miyoko's cheese. Man, that's some awesome stuff. You should try. I got some. Let me try it. When you turn the conversation around and let them ask you the questions and answer them well, it's well received. If somebody disagrees with you, say, okay, and let them have a point. They're in a different place than you, and you don't have to argue the point. Did I answer your question? Okay.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I ask the question a lot to people, is that vegan? And usually I get this question like, what's that? You know what I'm saying? So it gives me an opportunity to educate people, if you will, what vegan is, and they say you're a strict vegan, and like there's a middle road or something like that. But there's so much miseducation that we've been fed, and we have to start putting out good information and educating people, and I think that's one of the keys that we all have to shoulder that.
And it's not exactly misinformation, it's overinformation. And this is what I find is some people, all of this stuff that's coming out, and this is where you can cherry pick things, the cherry picker, is a big thing in media is when you have reports, they'll say, well, Dr. Campbell says this, no oil, but then this says this, so they can't even agree. Instead of saying, okay, there's an overinformation and people get careful, so let's look at it objectively, what works for you. And you don't want to paralyze people, because a lot of people, when they're reading all of this stuff, this is why I do what I do. I try to help people cipher through this ocean of information. Too much can make you say, it's not worth it, I'm not doing it all, I'm going to keep in my thing. But when you say, okay, what is your life? What works for you? What are you interested in right now? Where are you wanting to go? And you work in baby steps and you give them the information. That's what works.
Yeah, one from Twitter. This is from @PennyLessPoet. Asks, how and/or do you feel feminism plays into your vegan?
Abso-freaking-lutely. Back to the dairy thing. I know a lot of people go, what's feminist? You hate men and want to take over the world. No, it's equality. And I actually got in a conversation with a friend of mine, and she was talking about veganism and feminism. She's a feminist. I said, well, for me, I feel like I can't be a feminist if I have dairy. I said, look at dairy, something that enslaves a female, impregnates her, takes her child, and then uses her milk. I'm not trying to say that, we need to, that's the same as humans. I'm just saying that looking at it objectively as a woman, I have to say, if I'm going to say equality, I can't participate in this. And I'm not trying to say, I never try to berate the feminism. I'm saying, yes, it does play a big role, because it looks at the root of why I'm a feminist is equality. And I want equal rights for life, for everything. And I would love a utopian world where everybody was equal, we had no meat eaters and everything's great. It's not happening, but I do want to be a part of being in the game of leveling it out a little bit. And by me not participating and saying, if I'm going to say I'm a feminist, I can't support this, that's how I kind of define it. And most people are responsive to it. But yeah, I think it does play a big role, and I think it could be a conversation starter with people. So, have any other tweets? Anybody have any other questions, comments?
I had like 5, I forgot.
Anybody? Bueller? Okay. Yeah, okay, so we are at the end. Okay.
Real quick question.
Okay.
Where to go?
It is interesting, you mentioned about the connotation of veganism, it's got a bad connotation. I find it interesting about the plant-based diet, the Engine.
Oh, Engine 2 diet?
You rarely hear them refer to it as vegan diet.
Ah.
They have these retreats and everything, and I almost wonder if it's intentional. I guess it probably is, that they're not saying the word vegan, they're saying plant-based diet, plant-based diet.
Because Rip knows his stuff. Because he is talking to a broad audience and people that are my parents' age in their 60s and 70s, that when they look at veganism, it's kind of like, that's too extreme. I'm not, those people are crazy and I have to eat twigs. By saying we're plant-based. And, even with they have a forks over knives. I sent my parents this book. It's 4 weeks. I said, 4 weeks. You don't have to stick to it, but try it. Or, here's the Engine 2 diet, which has hamburgers and pizzas and spaghetti. He knows that if you talk to people and you don't try to make a big deal out of it, you're not trying to tell them this is vegan. You can just say, this is a healthy, whole food, plant-based diet. This is food. Try it. More people are responsive than we've seen because their retreats are always sold out. Every Whole Foods and their brother has the Engine 2 challenge, and they're always filled. So it makes me happy. Even if people don't stick to it, it makes them aware of it, and it makes them aware of change. And that's how we have to proceed. We can't make everybody turn vegan overnight. So how do we talk to them? And that is a great conversation starter, saying, this is plant-based. This is food. Let me teach you how to be healthy. This is from a health aspect. Look at these firefighters. Hey, these guys are, we'll put on little outfits. They understand how to talk to people. They understand how, they're marketers, and it works very, very well. And I'm happy, and I'm very proud of the Engine 2 diet movement. I think it's done wonders for the plant-based community. Anybody else for our release you guys out into the wild to get the vegan cupcakes, because I know I'm going to get one.
Back some questions. We'll
Yeah.
get to you later.
Yeah, if you have any other questions or you think of them later, you can always use a hashtag, and this week I'll be checking in and I will answer questions on Twitter as they come. And you can always follow me at veganrenegade.com and find me on Facebook and all the other.
Stop by the booth.
Yeah, stop by the booth to see me. Thank you guys so much.